2009, Adrian Helmsley, an American geologist, visits astrophysicist Dr. Satnam Tsurutani in India and learns that neutrinos from a massive solar flare are causing the temperature of the Earth's core to increase rapidly. Adrian travels to Washington, D.C. and gives a report on the findings to White House Chief of Staff Karl Anheuser, who takes Adrian to meet the President of the United States. In 2010, President Thomas Wilson and other international leaders begin a secret project to ensure humanity's survival. Approximately 400,000 people are chosen to board ships that are being constructed at Chomeng, Tibet, in the Himalayas. At the same time as the People's Liberation Army are gathering volunteers, a Buddhist monk named Nima is evacuated while his brother Tenzin joins the workers in the ship project. Additional funding for the project is raised by selling tickets to the private sector for €1 billion per person. By 2011, humanity's valuable treasures are moved to the Himalayas under the guise of protecting them from terrorist attacks with the help of art expert and first daughter Dr. Laura Wilson. One of the artworks is the Mona Lisa, which is replaced in the Louvre with a precise copy. Her boss, Roland Picard, is later killed when his car is forced into a fatal auto accident in the same Paris underpass where Princess Diana was killed. Picard had discovered that the cave containing the vault where the Mona Lisa and other precious works of art were supposed to be stored was a fake location. In 2012, Jackson Curtis is a science fiction writer in Los Angeles who works part-time as a limousine driver for the Russian oligarch billionaire, Yuri Karpov. Jackson's ex-wife, Kate, and their children Noah and Lily live with Kate's boyfriend, plastic surgeon Gordon Silberman. Jackson takes Noah and Lily camping in Yellowstone National Park. After an encounter at a restricted government research site with Helmsley, they meet Charlie Frost, who hosts a radio show from the park. Charlie, a conspiracy theorist, plays a video of Charles Hapgood's theory that polar shifts and the Mesoamerican long count calendar predict that the 2012 phenomenon will occur. Hapgood believed that unstable conditions under the crust of the Earth would cause it to shift. Earth crust displacement. Charlie has a map of the ARC project in addition to conspiracy theory information about officials and scientists from around the world who were murdered after planning to alert the public. One such scientist was a fan of Charlie's and had sent him the map before his untimely death. The family returns home as seismic activity vastly increases along the west coast of the United States. After dropping off Karpov's bratty sons at the airport, Jackson grows suspicious and rents a plane to rescue his family. He collects his family and Gordon as the Earth crust displacement begins, and they narrowly escape Los Angeles as the city slips into the Pacific Ocean, racked by a massive earthquake that destroys all of downtown. As millions die in catastrophic earthquakes worldwide, the group, with Gordon piloting the small plane, flies to Yellowstone to retrieve Charlie's map, escaping as the Yellowstone caldera erupts. Charlie stays behind to broadcast the eruption and is killed in the blast of the expulsion of an ash cloud. Learning that the ships are in China, the group lands in a devastated Las Vegas to find a larger plane. They meet Yuri, his twin sons Alec and Oleg, played by Alexander and Philippe Hausman, girlfriend Tamara, and pilot Sasha. The group secures an Antonov An-225 aircraft, erroneously and perhaps deliberately marked an Antonov 500, and they depart for China. Also heading for the Chomeng site aboard Air Force One are Anheuser, Helmsley, and Laura Wilson. Upon arriving in Tibet, they find that the ships are not ships destined to take the survivors off Earth but are giant seagoing ships, large arks that can hold thousands of people. Helmsley finds that the cabins are actually quite luxurious and only meant for 1 to 2 people, a fact he criticizes when he tells his porter the room could hold about 10 people. Anheuser explains that the high price of a room was necessary to fund the project since the governments of the world couldn't possibly have hidden the cost for very long. President Wilson stays in Washington, D.C. to address the country one final time. With the VP dead and the Speaker of the House missing, Anheuser expects accepted administration. Washington is hit by the pyroclastic ejecta cloud from Yellowstone, which covers the city in a gagging haze of thick debris. Battling with others in the pulverization, President Wilson is killed by a mega tsunami which conveys the plane carrying warship John F. Kennedy into the White House, smashing it. Sasha and the group plan to land briefly at Hawaii to refuel, however, the island chain has been devastated by volcanic activity. Continuing on, Sasha fears they may run out of fuel before making it to mainland Asia. They discover that the seismic activity of the Earth's surface has shifted the Chinese coast 1,500 miles east, and they are able to make a crash landing, narrowly escaping death by driving a Bentley out of the plane before it skids to a stop on a glacier. The plane overbalances on the edge of a cliff and plummets, taking Sasha with it. The group is spotted by the People's Liberation Army. Yuri and his sons, possessing tickets, are taken to the Arks, Yuri coldly leaving Tamara, whose affair with Sasha was something he knew of, and the others behind. The remaining survivors are picked up by Nima and are taken to the Arks with his grandparents. They stow away on the Ark with the help of Tenzin, who had a plan to smuggle his family aboard through a rear entrance. As a mega tsunami approaches the site, an impact driver becomes lodged between the gears of the Ark's hydraulics chamber, preventing a boarding gate from closing and rendering the ship unable to start its engines. In the ensuing chaos, Yuri, Gordon, and Tamara are killed, Tenzin is wounded, and the Ark is set adrift. Just before he dies, Yuri is able to hoist both his sons up to crew members of the ship. In doing so, he jumps to his death. Jackson and Noah dislodge the impact driver and the crew regains control of the Ark before it can impact Mount Everest. After flood waters from the tsunamis recede, the Arks travel to the Cape of Good Hope in South Africa, where the Drakensberg Mountains have risen in relation to sea level and become the tallest mountain range on Earth. Thank you for watching, and see you again in another movie.